So I'm going to get your videos done this week. We had them done last week, but obviously Curtis was in China. I was in PEI after the Hambletonian, and I did do the videos. They were done. They were going to be a couple of days late. It's a pain in the butt to upload them from my phone, and I'm sure there's an easier way to do this, and Justin had told me away, Curtis had told me away. We just haven't got it implemented yet. So when I do these videos, they're on my phone, and then I put them into Dropbox on my phone. But the uploading to Dropbox is so goddamn slow. It's so brutal. Like for me to do it at home, and I believe it's because my Wi-Fi sucks at my house too, but I'm not in my house right now. As you can see, I am at the Poconos in a hotel room. So hopefully that loads a little quicker today, and we'll get all these videos done. So we're gonna change the format up a little bit. There's no point in giving you guys a top 10 list and a horses to watch list. You're watching them all. I get emails all the time from everybody saying, "Hey, when's our Vicar gonna race?" And I look, and they don't own any of our Vicar. So, you know, people are paying attention to what we're doing. Our clients, for those of you getting this video, just so you know, there's just under 1,300 people on our email list. So 1,300 people received this video that you're watching right now. Not to mention it goes on YouTube. So God knows how many other people watch it. I have no idea. I can see the numbers of people that watch it, but I don't know how many of them are our clients or how many of them are just people watching YouTube. I have no idea. So just under 1,300 of you will get it. That's outside of the just under 500 people that are now paying clients at TheStable.ca. We built something pretty cool, and people are really starting to take notice of it. I saw it last week in Prince Edward Island. Now, I kind of feel bad for our clients. I woke up last minute, realized that last Thursday, last Friday, and last Saturday, all our best horses raced. So for the first time in a very long time, I was literally able to get to Prince Edward Island, where I'm from. I was literally able to get there for almost an entire week. And that was pretty special for me, but a little out of the blue, I guess. You know, I guess if I had looked at my calendar a little closer at the start of the year, I would have realized that the potential was there. But as you can imagine, these horses are a little fluid. Their staking programs change a little bit. Where we want to be, where we are, and where we'd like to be are not always the same. So it wasn't until last weekend I realized I could go to Prince Edward Island. So I booked the flight to Prince Edward Island. When I'm in PEI, I'd like to drive in the Gold Cup and Saucer. The last few years, I drove for Ron Burke. Now, how it happened was Ron Burke would send two horses down. Shockingly enough, they would both make the final of the Gold Cup, and I would drive the horse that Mark Campbell didn't drive. Well, this year, Ron Burke didn't send any horses. So I called Mark Weaver. First, I asked him, "Are you sending any?" He said, "No." I said, "Geez, would you be able to sell us one?" Thinking, you know, I didn't really know what was in store, how much they would want, what this horse would look like, his lines would look like, and how much it would cost us. So Mark Weaver said, "Well, what are you looking for?" And I said, "Well, you're a handicapper, you tell me. You know, I want a horse I can win the Gold Cup and Saucer with." So Mark sent me back a list of maybe 7 or 8 horses. And out of this list, I picked Lincoln James. I'd never heard of Lincoln James in my life. I didn't know anything about him. I talked to Ronnie on the phone a little bit about him and Mark, and decided this was the horse we were looking for, but they wanted a lot of money. They wanted $75,000 American for him. I keep saying American, and we have a lot of American clients. For those of you who cross the border at all, you understand what I'm talking about. 30% is what I'm talking about. That's the exchange rate. So 75,000 American to our Canadian clients is just a tick under 100 grand. 90, I guess, 90 something. So factor in the trucking, the bills, whatever. By the time we race him a couple of times in Ontario, he'll be in the 100 grand range. So it's a lot of money. So I didn't know if we could do it. Take again. I was on my way to Ohio with Danny O'Brien. This took place in under 2 hours. So what I wanted to do, and again, none of this takes place if I don't trust the people we're dealing with. Ron Burke and Mark Weaver are you know, exceptional business people, smart people. Ronnie's a tremendous, you know, Hall of Fame horseman. I assume he is. If he's not, he definitely will be. And Mark, you know, manages the biggest group of horses that I've ever seen. You know, you think we have a lot of horses? Nothing compared to Mark Weaver and Mike Buscemi. So this is 8:30 in the morning on Monday. You have to declare at 2 o'clock. So I pick up the phone. Now what I wanted to do was, to get this done, we needed to have at least 50 or 60% of this horse bought by bigger shareholders. Then we can farm the rest out quickly. Again, there's a time constraint on this. So I called 9 or 10 people. Of those 9 or 10 people, 7 of them bought all the shares. I didn't see that happening. I didn't see that coming. It kind of caught me off guard, and now this changes the dynamic. I still want to have the promotion on Prince Edward Island. I want to bring this horse to PEI. What I want to do is sell a big chunk of the horse, sell some to TheStable.ca, and leave 15 or 20 shares that we could sell in Prince Edward Island. You have to understand, people in Prince Edward Island, I'm not saying this is a poor country, it's not Haiti. I mean, there's rich people in Prince Edward Island and rich horse people. But not very often people from Prince Edward Island get a chance to buy into a horse that can win the Gold Cup and Saucer. This is an expensive horse. Keep in mind, we just talked about how much this horse was going to cost. People in PEI just can't write a check for $100,000. It's just not going to happen. Why would you? I mean, these people live in PEI. They'd like to see the horse race in PEI. Well, Lincoln James isn't going to race in PEI again, and if he does, it'll be next year at the Gold Cup and Saucer, possibly. It just doesn't happen. We can't. There's no money down there to race all year, so they're going to see the horse one time in person, unless they come to visit. So I wanted to give people in PEI an opportunity to buy into this horse. So I didn't get a chance to sell any shares to the people in TheStable.ca, which made me feel bad. But I guess it's a kind of from a business point, it's a good problem to have. We sold all the horse from what we do. I kind of felt bad about it, but there was nothing I could do. So I had to call the people back and take 15% back to to sell to the people in PEI. Now we put it on a promotion. I didn't put it on Standard Canada. I didn't advertise it. I didn't market it because I didn't want to. I wanted to make sure that the people in Prince Edward Island, or at least the Maritimes, were the ones that got a chance to buy these shares. So they advertised it a little bit at Red Shores in Prince Edward Island, just a tiny bit. We had 43 people put their name in to win the chance to buy one share. So 15 people were going to get the chance. We put the promotion on for 5 days, very quietly. 43 people put their name in. So we drew the 15 out, and congratulations to those 15 people. You're now members of TheStable.ca. I met with them all in Prince Edward Island, very, very happy. They were elated, as I was. It was a tremendous success, as much of what we've done has been incredibly. We all knew that, I joked about it in the first year, if you build it, they will come. They did. You did. And it's been quite an experience, and this year is, I couldn't set goals. I couldn't realistically set the goals that we've achieved already before the end of the year, and we're going to talk about some of those in a minute. So Lincoln James was bought. He got to Ontario Wednesday night at midnight. We ran some fluids into him, gave him some vitamins, sent him on his way. He trucked 17 hours to Prince Edward Island. He got to Prince Edward Island Friday at 3 o'clock in the morning. 3 o'clock in the morning he arrived. He got Friday off, obviously. Jogged Saturday, jogged Sunday, went out, raced Monday, came first over, second beat a length in 1:51 on a half-mile track, last quarter in 27-2. Now, all comes down to the draw on Tuesday, right? 8 horses on the gate, 1 through 8. You already know how this is going to end. We drew 8. 8. Favorite draws the rail. Just about the worst case scenario you could have. So I thought it was the worst case scenario till Saturday came and the skies opened up and it rained as hard as it could possibly rain on Saturday. Races were canceled. Canceled the whole card. So I got White Tiger on Sunday. I can't miss him. I got Stonebridge Simba. Can't miss him. So I have to walk away from... I walked away from the Hambletonian 2 weeks ago. Now keep in mind, as a kid growing up, there's a few races everybody wants to be involved in. There's a few races everybody wants to win. People talk about the Little Brown Jug, the North American Cup, the Meadowlands Pace. For me, an island boy. The Little Brown Jug isn't on the top of my list. Gold Cup and Saucer is. As a guy who loves training and driving trotters, Hambletonian is near the top of the list also. So not only did I have to walk away from the Hambletonian, but now I got to walk away from Gold Cup and Saucer. So Kenny Arsenault drove the horse. Jody's horse made a break in the first turn, scattered the field a little bit. Kenny Arsenault had to grab him real quick. He said he didn't seem to have much power. After that, he's kind of in the mix. Still paced 152 last quarter in 28 seconds. But started coughing after the race. Now, you might say, oh, he's sick. No. Usually when horses start coughing and coughing and coughing and coughing after the race, you're looking at inflammation in something called the palate. Now, the palate sits at the back of the throat. For us humans, this is the thing that keeps the food from going into your lungs, the water from going into your lungs. It's that flap. Same with horses. And when you grab a horse like that, sometimes they'll flip their palate and it'll get a bruise on it, and you can only imagine how constrictive that is. For any of those who ever fainted or got knocked out or got choked out maybe, I don't know if we have many MMA fighters that are mixed, but for any of you that know what I'm talking about, when you're in that position, it drains your energy quick. It takes the oxygen away, right? Even for that slip, that few seconds. And it really takes away from the rest of your race. As you can imagine, when you're on the track for 1 minute and 52 seconds or 1 minute and 50 seconds, and 1 or 2 seconds of that, you have your air constricted. It takes away. And that's what I saw. And as soon as the groom had called me and said, he's coughing, should we get him scoped? I was pretty sure I knew what happened. So I don't like to make excuses. Listen, the horse drew 8. We knew when the draw came out it was going to be an awful mountain to climb. And then when we get jammed up in the first turn and had to grab the horse quick, that was it. That was it. So our hopes as TheStable.ca were dashed for the Gold Cup and Saucer 2018. But the good news is we got a great horse. So he's coming back to Ontario with us right now. He's on his way back up. He's got a partner with him in the trailer. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But that was Lincoln James, the week of Lincoln James. So we had made headlines in Prince Edward Island and the Maritimes, brought some people into the game, 8 new people. Out of those 15, 7 of them were owners now or recently, and 8 of them either had never been owners for a long time or never have been owners in their life. So we put some smiles on a lot of faces in Prince Edward Island, and that was the point, a big point of what we did. You know, to show people the power of fractional ownership, to be able to bring these horses into a smaller stable and into a smaller, how do you put it? You know, what we've done has been able to give people that otherwise wouldn't be able to buy these types of horses an opportunity to. And that's what racing's all about, to bring horse racing back to the people that invented it. The everyday people racing on the back roads. That's how horse racing was invented, and that's how we're going to fix the problems of today, is bringing it back to its roots. So we definitely did that in Prince Edward Island, and we're going to continue to do that in North America. So that's Lincoln James, the week of Lincoln James. The story didn't end how we wanted it to, but it certainly was something to behold, at least from my standpoint and hopefully yours. Next, a year of firsts. I never thought in 3 years we'd have such success. I mean, keep in mind, the business model of TheStable.ca is not to win the Hambletonian. It's not to win the Breeders' Crown. It's great, but that would be a byproduct of what we've done now, isn't it? I never told any of you that Lawmaker would race in the Hambletonian when we bought him. I never told any of you that White Tiger would race in the Houghton. Certainly didn't tell any of you that we would break any world records or equal them, or break any track records. I didn't tell any of you that. You all got involved because you love the game. Same as I do. Same as a lot of people do. And the same as many, many, many people in society, the general public would and will. So last night when I flew into, here's how my Saturday went. Saturday I left Prince Edward Island. Well, I guess it would be Sunday. Sunday morning I left Prince Edward Island at 1:30 in the morning. No sleep. You know, I get home at 12 o'clock, and for those of you that are on the go a lot, you know what it means to sleep from 12 to 1 and move. Feels like you're standing in cement sometimes. and I had a busy day ahead of me. I didn't want to forget anything. I didn't want to make any mistakes flying, and I thought I could get a couple hours of shut-eye when I got to Pennsylvania. So no sleep. I drove 1 o'clock in the morning. I get in the car, 12:50. I get in the car, and I drove my mother's car. Drove my mother's car from Prince Edward Island to Moncton. Any of you that are from Prince Edward Island or around there, it's about a 2-hour drive, a little less, but in the middle of the night. And the last thing my mother says, hey, if you ever want to jinx anyone, watch out for the moose. Watch out for the moose. Like I wouldn't be watching out for the moose otherwise. I would be completely oblivious to the moose on the road otherwise. So I left. So those of you that don't know much about Canada, moose are like giant deer, look like deer on steroids. And if you hit one, you'd want to have your seatbelt on and be in a safe car, because I've seen them mess up trucks. They're big antlers and whatever. It's not something you want to hit. So I leave PEI. I did not hit any mooses. I didn't hit any of them on my way to Moncton. I got all the way to the airport. I actually got to the airport early, because you know how punctual I like to be. I got to the airport early and got my stuff done. I beat all the airport agents. The airport wasn't open when I got there. It was closed. So I get on the plane, fly to Toronto. Get to Toronto at 6:50. Now, because this isn't a connecting flight, this was 2 different flights, I had to get my bags and recheck. Now, I have Nexus, so it's not like there was a huge line up there at 7 o'clock in the morning anyway. Get my bag check in. So I'm like, how's my flight at 10 o'clock and I don't get to the Poconos till 4? That's because it was a connecting flight of 2 connections, technically. Moncton to Toronto, Toronto to Philadelphia. 2 hours in Philadelphia, and then I fly to the Poconos, Wilkes-Barre. So I get to Philadelphia, get a little breakfast. I slept in the plane. Now, I don't want to fall asleep in the terminal because, I'm going to miss the flight. So I didn't want to drink any coffee either, because I wanted to be able to sleep when I did get to where I was going. So I had an hour sleep on the plane, I guess, and then get to Pennsylvania at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Got to sign in to race at 6:30. And as I'm landing, I get an email. I didn't realize that. I knew White Tiger and Stonebridge Simba were in the top 10. I just assumed they would. 6-horse field. They're both going to make the final. You'd be wrong. 3 of the horses I had to beat to ensure a spot in the final were in our division. So not only did White Tiger have to stay flat and do well, he had to win. So now, and you guys make it so easy. I mean, as a driver, I found it very difficult sometimes. Not difficult. I mean, I take pressure pretty good now, after 2 decades of driving and training and a short stint in politics. I got thick skin, and I take things pretty easy. But now, the best trotter we have as a 2-year-old is facing elimination from the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes if I can't win with him. So I get off the plane, 45 minutes sleep in 28 hours. Go to my hotel room knowing that I have to win with White Tiger. So at the end of the day, you really just have to step back and take a look at it. As I always do, I try to look at things in an impartial way if I can, and realize that we have 5 levers in the race. I just have to keep White Tiger. Now, for those of you who asked last week, a couple of people, I don't know if you watched the video. I didn't release the video I had last week. It was a 27-minute video, and I didn't have the other video, so really it was useless. And in that video, I explained White Tiger's race in the Meadows. White Tiger, he didn't miss the gate, nor did I miss the gate at the Meadowlands. White Tiger, if you remember, ran away with me in the qualifiers, first ever lifetime qualifier. This is a horse we don't want hot. He's got, what did somebody tell me the one time that I had? The squirrel syndrome. I always keep looking around, and that's what he does. He doesn't focus. He doesn't pay attention. If you look close at his videos, I actually bought 3 chin chains. So the chains that go under their chin are the chains they chew on sometimes, and we attach them to the nose band, and they hang down on his nose, and they're always rattling on his nose. And I didn't know if it worked. I didn't know if it wouldn't work, but we tried it, and it did. Ever since we put those on his nose, he pays attention a little bit more, but he's still a scatterbrain. And I don't want to slam his nose up on the gate and have him hot. So at the Meadowlands, Mark had told me the gate moved slow, and I brought him into position. I didn't want to leave with him. I saw that the horse was on the run, the favorite, Green Shoe, was on the run, and I just wanted to get away 5th or 6th and get the trip kind of that I got last night. 2nd, 3rd over, that's fine. And I didn't want to move him in the first turn at the Meadowlands, so I didn't, and I got locked in. I would think 2-year-old trotters, favorites on the run, horses are going to make breaks, you're going to get out. I didn't. In Pennsylvania, at the Meadows, I went to put him up on the gate. You can't see it. I watched the replay. It starts, and you never see me. Well, I'm up to the gate, one of the first ones in Pennsylvania. And I was going to leave with him because Andy Miller's horse is a horse to beat. But White Tiger got a little out of gear, got a little goofy behind the gate. Number one rule of driving trotters, I tell you all the time, is keep them trotting. So I missed the gate with him because I was keeping him trotting. He raced well. He didn't finish up quite as fast as I thought the last 8th, the last 16th. But this is 6 days after being at the Hambletonian, being hot in the post parade, and trotting in 153, coming back, trucking 6 hours to Pennsylvania. 6 days later, might have taken a little something out of him. So last night, I just wanted to stay close. I knew there was a good chance I was getting away 6th. I knew the race would set up. Hopefully there was enough speed would set up where we would be drug up into it. I just wanted to be 2nd over, and White Tiger raced great. I moved him first up from 6th, just before the half. And I'd said this before, sometimes with White Tiger, when you move him to the outside, he wants to go right away. Well, I moved him over, and I just spoke to him a little bit, settled him down, and he drove right up onto Tim Tetrick's back. Followed him, and I called on him at the head of the lane, and there was absolutely no missing. He exploded off Tetrick's helmet and roared past him at the wire, and it was one of the most exciting things that has happened in quite a while, to have a horse that talented. Now we're starting to see him smart. Starting to see him understand what his game's all about. Before, when you see these youngsters, like in his qualifier, he just wanted to overpower everybody. And we saw that last year with Cruising in Style. And he's now starting to be a racehorse after, what, 20, 30 starts? He's starting to become the horse we knew he could be. And I didn't want to turn White Tiger into that type of horse where he's a runaway, he's hot, he just wants to fight and wrestle with everybody all the time, because you just can't beat up on horses that are as good as you or better than you in some cases doing it that way. You have to be a little more tactical. Lawmaker, I've always said, might not be as fast as the horses he beats. He's just smarter than them. He can get spotted. He's handy. You can move him. You haven't seen him race him off the pace, but make no mistake, if I had to, I could in a heartbeat. He's just a smart horse. White Tiger's a bully, but he's turned into a smart horse. And last night, that was on display last night. Last night's performance equaled the world record for a 2-year-old gelding on a 5/8 mile track. A world record. And broke the track record. New track record holder for 2-year-old gelding at the Poconos is White Tiger. Season's best track record, equaled the world record. That's what type of horse White Tiger is. Somebody said to me after, they said, geez, he's a nice horse. So what a mile. I didn't realize at the time it was a world track record or anything like that. I said, I just always have the faith, all the faith in the world in this horse. If I'm in striking distance, he's healthy, and he hasn't been erratic in the race, I don't think there's a 2-year-old on earth that he can't trot with. Green Shoe looks pretty impressive. He wants to come to the Poconos, where we have the track record now, and Tangle later on in the year. We'll be here. And for me, this is some kind of feeling. But back to my original statement before, we didn't buy any of these horses to do this. What we did was put together a great group of investors and people that want to buy horses, that love the game for the game. And I believe I did my job. We found value in most all the horses we bought. Some turned out, some didn't. But we found value in the ones we did. For the ones that didn't turn out, nobody got burned. And everybody understood what was taking place. And we got some good horses that are on their way right now. And we'll talk about a couple of them in a minute. But for right now, White Tiger gave me quite a thrill last night. And by the looks of my inbox on my emails, he gave you quite a thrill too. So thanks everybody for the kind wishes with him. Apparently you don't need sleep to do well in this game. 1 bottle of Red Bull and 45 minutes sleep. And obviously I was a little wired after the race. I was pretty sharp myself. So I might have played a little bit of blackjack at the casino downstairs, and then went to bed. I get a good night's sleep last night, as you can see, though. So it was all worth it. I had a unbelievable. For those of you out there that have never been to Old Home Week, Prince Edward Island, do yourself a favor and put it on your bucket list. It is the best time. The food, the whole week. Like, I had to just not eat breakfast, drink some water. I had a latte. It's the fattest thing you're going to see me eat for a little bit. So that's how good White Tiger was, because I put on about 7 pounds in about 6 days in Prince Edward Island. The food is tremendous. The people are nice. The racing is great. And obviously the Gold Cup and Saucer. If you haven't seen the Gold Cup and Saucer, do yourself a favor. If you want to get a real feel for what the Gold Cup and Saucer and Old Home Week is, go to YouTube and put in Exhibition Drive. Just that. There's an hour documentary called Exhibition Drive. Do yourself a favor and watch that. It's pretty cool. I'm in there racing a horse. So's my brother Mark, James. And it gives tons of Islanders and Maritimers are on there talking about what the Gold Cup means to them and what kind of a race it is. You get a real feel for what the Gold Cup and Saucer is. And for those of you who plan your vacations a year ahead, do yourself a favor. Next August, go to Old Home Week in Prince Edward Island. So that's Lincoln James. That's White Tiger. Next, Swandre the Giant. Knocked off White Tiger last week. It's going to be a little bit of a tussle when we do this top 10 list again at some point. Swandre the Giant is undefeated in 2018. I think he's 6 for 6, 5 for 5. Obliterated the field in Indiana again the other day. 154 and 2, 3, whatever. I know he's coming for the Wellwood. So is White Tiger. So they're going to lock horns in Canada. And I would think later on in the year too, and we'll talk about that. But Swandre the Giant is some kind of animal. He's a nice horse, and couldn't be happier for the owners. Great people. Brandon Bates, I've never met him in person. Very, very nice man to talk to on the phone and a text. He has her other filly down there, Bay Jewel. She's doing pretty good. It was third or last start. She's in to go this week. And on my list, I didn't think about talking about the horses that are away. Crap. I'm going to have to change that. Anyway, he is Bay Jewel for us, and she raced well the other day. Finished third. Raced pretty good. I think she's underachieving, and I don't think that's her attitude, but she hasn't got a chance to break out yet, and I'm waiting for that race, and I think it will come. But nevertheless, he is her for us also. So Swandre the Giant is some kind of animal, and everybody's talking about him. I know they turned down high 6 figures for this colt. I guess not high, but I know what it was. I'm not going to tell you. But it was a lot of money. A lot of money was turned down on Swandre the Giant. Good for them. I know Brian, Terry, Rich, and obviously Paul are having a fantastic time with him, as they should. He sent me a message saying, thanks for picking the horse out. Listen, we just bought a horse. We bought a nice horse that turned out really nice. We put the work in, and he showed up at the track. And I don't want anybody to have any sort of illusions that I can go around buying $17,000 horses that turn into expensive animals. But we did in this case. Obviously, we did with White Tiger. But, we just... I think this is a testament. Everybody says, oh, you must have a great eye for yearlings. Come on. We found value in these horses. We have a great eye for value, I think. And we put the work in. We put the work into them, and they show up. And that's really, there's no secret to it. It's hard work. Hard work by the people in the barn, the grooms, the other trainers, the people that work on these horses. Guys like Brandon Bates that do a great job with them. Angie Coleman out in Illinois has done a great job with what we've given her. Jason McGinnis done a tremendous job. And our trainers here also, Kevin and Harry and Ricky. That's where it happens. It's not Anthony picking the horses out. I'd love to take credit for Swandre the Giant, but I think that credit belongs solely in TheStable.ca. So Swandre the Giant has been unbelievable this year. Probably one of the best 2-year-old colts in North America right now. And we're going to wrestle, Swandre and I and White Tiger, soon enough, maybe a couple of times. So Swandre the Giant has been awesome. 3 great stories so far. I'm going to have to let you go for a second, because I know that for some reason I can only speak for 32 minutes and the phone shuts off. I don't know why. I don't work for Samsung. But I'm at 29.56. So I'm going to come back. We got 3 other horses to talk about on what would be, I guess, our top news stories. We got a lot to talk about underneath that, and some big news also. So be back in just a minute with a few more horses on our news list. So we're talking about change the format a little bit. I have a little longer introduction this week because I want to talk about some stuff. There's no point in making a top 10 list, as I said at the start of this, because you know who they are. You've been watching them all summer. There's no need to keep beating that drum. We're going to talk about some more horses. So big story that came out this week, not really big for us, was Maintenance Man won his last 2 starts in 153 at Georgian Downs. So here's the thing. Maintenance Man's next start would be either Grand Circuit or the Grassroots, and most people frugally and conservatively said, let's stick to the Grassroots. Normally I'd agree, but we skipped Grand River Raceway in the Battle of Waterloo because we didn't want to race Maintenance Man on a half, and I'm certainly not going to start now. So we will not be racing in Hanover at the Grassroots. We might catch the last one depending on what happens in the Nassau. And do I think Maintenance Man has done enough to absolutely earn his way into the Nassau? No. Finished 3rd in the gold. Then his next start, I don't think he was on top of his game and finished back. And then he won his next 2. I think he's fast enough. I think he's good enough. And we're going to put him in it. So next, the end of this week, Maintenance Man will race in the Nassau at Mohawk. Made my decision. After that, we can try the Grassroots possibly, or keep continuing with the Grand Circuit and the Golds. Can he beat Casey's Colt and those horses? Probably not. That's why we hold the races. We didn't enter our horses because they weren't, because they weren't 3 to 5. We'd never race. White Tiger was 4 or 5, 6 to 1 last night. Picked for 4th morning line. Stonebridge Simba was picked for 4th. We race these horses because they're race horses. That's what we bought them to do. And Maintenance Man's going to race in the Nassau on Saturday evening, where he belongs. Is he going to be a favorite? No. He's probably going to be a long shot. I'd like to get a trip with him, though, and give the horse a chance to stretch his legs out good and see how he does. Fast Colt, been one of our better horses, was our best horse training down forever. If you look back week by week by week by week by week, nobody stayed on top of the top 10 list longer than Maintenance Man, that's for sure. So Maintenance Man will be racing in the Nassau on Saturday night. Sunshine's Finest. I keep getting calls or emails from people that don't even own him, saying, hey, where's the big colt? Where's Sunshine's Finest at? He's in the barn. That's where he is. I told you we weren't racing him in the Battle of Waterloo. Wasn't racing him in the Gold at Grand River. Took her time. Schooled him 2 weeks ago in 158. James thought he was good. Schooled him the other day in 154 and said he was real good. He's going to race this week, Thursday, in a maiden. Then he'll be in a prep race. Then he'll be racing in, I don't want to say this wrong. It's not the Nassau. He'll be racing in Champlain, I believe. I believe the Champlain on the 7th of September at Mohawk. So Sunshine's Finest is looking good right now. Tall order with that Stag Party horse and a bunch of other ones. There's a lot of good horses right now in Ontario this year, and we got one of them. So looking for a big mile out of Sunshine's Finest. Not this week. Just go easy this week. I would assume he'll be close and race well. He might even win. But his first start back is going to be a little refresher course for him. Stretch him out a little tiny bit, keep him in hand. We'll have him really good for the prep of the Nassau, and hopefully on that night he will be, the Champlain, and hopefully that night he'll be awesome. And then some other big news. Arvika finally surfaces. I schooled her in 59. I qualified her in 59. We schooled her again the other day in 159. I hate saying how fast she went because everybody keeps saying, how fast she go? How fast she go? I keep telling you, it doesn't matter how fast she went. I don't care. I want to make sure she does her work well. The speed will come when she gets in with other horses that are fast. We'll see what kind of speed Arvika has. She's been very good. She's going to make her first lifetime start Thursday night at Mohawk. I could have raced her in the second leg of the Pure Ivory, but she's not ready. You put a horse in their first lifetime starting against horses that have 6, 7 lifetime starts. Either you're much better than them or you might be in the wrong place. And I don't want to hurt this filly, bother her, annoy her, or cause her to be frustrated in any way. So she's going to make her first start in some sort of maiden race Thursday night at Mohawk. So those are 6 horses I wanted to talk about. I got them all written down. I took my time this morning, went through my phone, got all the stables in alphabetical order, got the turnouts. We're going to come back and talk about the horses that are away first, because I almost missed those. I'm going to talk quickly about the horses that are away. Then we're going to get into all the stables. We do have a little bit of news still. So, first off, I think the bug that we had, that 21-day virus that ravaged our barn, it's gone, I believe. Both Timo Tulo, Timo Houdini, and the fillies had it. The fillies had it about a week before the trotters for some reason. And Linnae and those horses schooled great the other day. So I would suspect they're over it. We'll see how they race tonight in the grassroots at Mohawk. Timo Houdini and Timo. We had this Jody Jameson ones that actually told my wife about this mobile spa. Sounds a little hinky, but they had this mobile spa that has salt water in it. I don't know how it works. I've never seen it, but Jody said he put his horse in it, and the mucus just poured out of him. So we did. We put all those 6 horses, 7 that were getting over the virus in it, and it poured out of our horses too. So we'll see how effective that spa treatment was tonight. Unfortunately, Sunshine's Finest was scratched. She tied up a little bit training on Saturday, and we were forced to scratch her. Not the end of the world. If she was in Thursday, we probably could have raced her, but Monday was just too soon. I think the 10-hole may have been a contributing factor also. I mean, if she had the 2-hole or 3-hole, you'd be like, maybe she can overcome it. 10-hole, tough hill to climb there with her. So we opted to scratch her out of the grassroots tonight and race her on next week sometime, end of the week or something. She hasn't had a great year, but, this is a filly that's just itching to break out. Not many of you know this, and I didn't make a big deal about it because it was a schooler, but I actually beat Sunshine's Finest with Sunshine in the schooler. Now, I might have had a 10-length head start at the head of the lane. James was way back with Sunshine's Finest, just come flying late. He didn't quite get me, though. I had Sunshine in, and she was awesome. So I was really looking forward to see her race tonight, even out of the 10-hole, but unfortunately with her AST and creatine level being high, so in their blood, I've talked about this a million times, but in their blood there's obviously a million levels, and the one that we were looking for was the AST enzyme level. It should be really low. When it starts to get up high, that enzyme's released when muscle fibers break. It's my understanding. So when they tie up, they cramp up, and it's like when you hurt your back and you tweak your back and you can't move. That's the enzyme type thing. So when their enzyme levels get up high, they can't function. Just can't do it. Her creatine level and her AST were high, so we had to not race her tonight. She beat Sunshine's Finest in the schooler with other horses and was very good. She's been off to a rough start this year, but this is a filly that's itching to break out. She's going to be a really nice 3-year-old, so we're going to do everything we can to make sure she gets the best education without any sort of debilitating, beating on her conscience and her confidence all year. So she'll have a few more races in her, I think, and then we'll put her away. I think we're looking at a really nice 3-year-old, though, with this filly. So also, the bug is gone, I hope. And just to touch on quick, I'm not going to name any names. I'm not a superstitious person, but I'm not an idiot also. I'm not going to name any names, but I am sitting right here in a hotel at the Poconos, Pocono Downs Casino Resort, and the racetrack is just out the window there. Breeders' Crown is here this year. We're going to be putting on some stuff. I'm going to be going down later on. I have an appointment to talk to the marketing manager with Pocono Downs. We're going to, I would imagine, have some horses coming here for the Breeders' Crown, I would think. I think you know who the suspects are. We're going to be here. I would imagine it would have to be a catastrophic fall for us not to be at the Breeders' Crown, at least the eliminations in October. So I had the dates written down, but I don't think I have them in front of me. The dates for the... right here. October 27th will be the eliminations, and then a week later the finals. We're going to be working out something where we have a bunch of people come down. I know the bus tour didn't work too well to go to the Hambletonian, but it's a long drive to the Meadowlands, and it's hot. The drive to the Poconos isn't bad. It's less than 6 hours from home, our home, my home. I might rent a bus. We might rent a bus to come to the Breeders' Crown. We might get some rooms here at the Poconos. I'm going to book mine when I go downstairs, maybe a couple of rooms for us, and then we're going to start booking hotels for people October 27th. Now, I've been to the Poconos. You might want to come here. You might want to come here in October. There's going to be a lot of fun, not just the race, but the city itself is beautiful. Beautiful here. My God, it's nice. Yeah, so again, when I like to travel, you want good food, good accommodations. You got both right here at the Poconos. So if you want to have a good time, not just for TheStable.ca, not just for our horses, but just in racing in general, you may want to check out the Breeders' Crown. And we will be putting on something to get some people down here, a lot of people down here, for not just for us, but for racing in general. So the Breeders' Crown is in October. We're going to have horses, and I don't mean to beat the same drum over and over again, but I think it's wise, if nothing else, to take a look at the scoreboard sometime. When you look at this fall and what we're going to be doing at the stable and the horses we bought last year, we're going to have horses in the Breeders' Crown. We're going to have horses in the Pennsylvania Sires final, both White Tiger and Stonebridge Simba. There are 8. How's Ava do it? 8 spots on the gate for the final of the 2-year-old trotting colts in Pennsylvania, the toughest jurisdiction on earth. Make no mistake, the toughest. We have 2 of them. Stonebridge Simba and White Tiger are both going to the Pennsylvania Sires. So 1/4 of the best 2-year-old trotters in Pennsylvania by points or money this year are ours. Ohio, we're going to have 4, maybe 5, I think 4 though. 4 heading to the finals. Twinsburg, See You in Tuscany, yes, and Osopine. 4 horses heading to the finals. There's a lot of horses in Ohio. 4 of them going to the finals. They're ours. Kentucky finals. You didn't even know we had horse for Kentucky, did you? Twinsburg's also eligible to Kentucky. She raced in Kentucky the other night and finished 3rd. I know they have 3 legs in a final, so I don't know if she can make the final. But if she can finish, I think, 1st or 2nd next weekend, I would assume she'll make the final of the Kentucky Sires. Illinois, Not an Angel's coming around. She's sitting 5th, I think somebody told me, in points now. She needs some points. She's got to fight to make the final. Angie and Rob have done a tremendous, tremendous job keeping this filly sound, getting her sounder, and getting her ready to race in the rest of the fall in, not the rest of the fall, the next 2-3 starts in Illinois. So 1, congratulations to them. 2, both Not an Angel. I don't know how far out Ivanka is. We'll talk about her in a minute. She's like the Night of the Living Dead. She crawled out of the, I was going to say the grave, but crawled out of the pasture to make it back to the track. And I don't want to spoil it. We'll talk about her in a minute. So Illinois, and also Holden Steady's in the mix. I believe he made a break the other day in Springfield, maybe, I guess. And I don't know why he made a break in the middle of the straightaway. It's very uncharacteristic. But he's in the hunt also. Ontario, Sunshine's Finest. I would imagine he's in, or will be in. Timo Tulo and Timo Houdini are in the hunt. What else do we have? Fillies or grassroots? Pacing colts, trotting fillies. We got 2, but I don't think they're going to make the final unless they pull their pants up. And Warby Ultra, we're going to drop her into the grassroots or next start. You know, I think she's good enough. The other day I mentioned to our clients after the race that maybe she's just not good enough. And then we scoped her and she was full of mucus. She went in that spa treatment. She's going to race in the grassroots or next start. And we will see what's up with that. And then Dance Hall Babe, unfortunately, we had to scratch her, but she's back ready to go now. She's going to have a huge last. I think there's only 1 left. So, I mean, our focus with Dance Hall Babe was always a little bit of Grand Circuit. And yes, I would have liked to race her by now. And yes, she made a break in her first 2. And we had to put the trot and hobbles on her. These are horse racing things. And my biggest concern with Dance Hall Babe is her future. She is going to be a nice filly. So Ontario, we're going to be represented in the finals there. And then the New York finals, I think Cruising in Style is right on the ledge of making it also. So you got a lot of horses. You know, almost every jurisdiction we're going to have horses in the finals in. So I think that, again, that's a testament to the barn philosophy, the work ethic of the grooms and the horses and the people in it. You know, yes, we bought some nice horses last year, but lots of people bought nice horses, and they're going to be watching our horses race, some of them, in the finals. So that's that. And last, not least, and this needs to be on its own, this week we are going to start sending out questionnaires, if you want, just probing people to see what they want to do with the sales. You may not know this, and we're not going to tell you who they are for quite a bit yet, but we have 10 horses already, 10 yearlings already, 9, 10 yearlings, something like that, at the stable. I'm not telling you who they are. I'll tell you right before the sales. We're going to, obviously, Muscle Chrome is heading to the London sale. We will likely retain her unless she goes for a lot of money, which if she does, great for the owners. If she does not, she'll be coming home with us. Not obviously, I'll tell you, the other Knockdown Dragout is the other one that we had, the Sebastian K filly. She's not going anywhere. She's staying with us. And the other fillies, or the other yearlings, are the other fillies. I'm just reading texts that are coming in. The other fillies, or the other yearlings, we'll tell you later on, right before the sales. But we already have 8, 9, 10 yearlings already. So in regards to the sales, we want to have a list compiled this year. We don't want to turn it into a frantic mad dash, and it was a little bit last year. We're going to be using the app, so if you have the time and you haven't downloaded the TheStable.ca app, take the time to do it. Whether you're an iPhone or Android, we have them on both. And we're going to have real-time sales prices and an ability to buy horses right there at the sale. The quickest way to do that is through the app. We'll be doing it on the site also, but you'll see it come up on the app probably before the site, I would imagine. It's a little more difficult to put it up there than it is on the app. So, one, we want to compile lists of people that are interested in buying horses with us. Maybe what their comfort levels would definitely be helpful. What jurisdiction they're looking at, sex, gait, things of that nature. What sales you're looking at. I already have horses picked out for the Ohio sale in 2 weeks. I have horses picked out for the Goshen sale, which is coming up in September 7th, 8th, something like that. So I've already started doing my homework, and obviously we want to make sure that we start to get everybody involved. Last year what we did, and I think it was the best way to do it, was I'll tell you who I'm looking at. You can email me and ask us what prices we're looking at, and from there you can either choose to be on that list or not. And if we buy that horse, you'll get first dibs at buying shares in that horse. It's the only fair way to do it. Last year what happened was we had a couple of horses we were going to buy. We made the lists and we ended up buying the horses for much less than we anticipated, and then everybody wanted in. But we're going to give people that wanted in to begin with the opportunity to buy into those horses. It's the only fair way to do it. And I think it's the best way for us to do it. I would like, obviously in a perfect world, we would buy the horses and they'd all be bought already. But we all know that we don't live in a perfect world. So we're also looking for people that want to buy horses with us and in turn looking to sell them. We did that last year with a couple of people that helped us put up the capital, buy these horses, and in turn reaped small rewards, but rewards in doing so. And it's not something we promote because TheStable.ca is obviously about putting on the show, you know, making the experience great for you, making the entertainment level high. And to do that, we have to buy the horses. So the business side of the circus is not always on display. So that's what we did last year. That's what we're going to do again this year. I just want to make sure that I don't have any surprises come sale day, you know, that we run out of money. Last year we spent a lot of money and we did a great job getting the horses all bought and all paid for and put out on there on display for everybody. And this year we'd like to do the exact same thing. So that's it. That's it for the big news. We're going to run through all the stables. I even got all the turnouts written down, all the turnouts, all the stables. Get it all done for you in just a minute.